Subscription boxes. Why am I talking about subscription boxes? That is because as a company, Jellyfish Connect has moved into this area. We have launched a new website called youopen.com, which is a bit like Magazine and Pocket Mags, selling a range of subscription boxes. So that's why I believe there's a massive opportunity here, not just for us, but also supporting you guys in that. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about this and hopefully prompt some ideas and some thoughts of things that you as publishers might be able to do. So I'm going to kick off with just saying, what is a subscription box? What do I mean? Because there may be some people going, what on earth are you talking about? I have no idea. We still know that people don't understand that. So it's the likes of HelloFresh food boxes, Graze, class as a subscription box. You've got booze that you can get through the post. You've got beauty products. You've got shaving products. You've got sweets. You've got geek stuff, everything. You can get all sorts of things on an ongoing subscription basis delivered through your door in a box. So that's what I mean by subscription boxes. And the interest in these is growing massively. Obviously, as a digital business, we very much focus on the search terms and seeing what's going and seeing what people are looking for. And this chart goes from 2010 up to today, and you can see probably it really sort of started kicking off in 2015. And this is UK. In the US, these numbers are significantly bigger. The US market is huge, and it started before the UK, but the UK is catching up and growing rapidly. And if I make a comparison to that, and we look at UK magazine subscription terms, which we're all involved in, not surprising those little peaks are Christmas. They're Christmas peaks. But you can see they go up and down, and that sort of, it's been fairly stable, if anything, a little bit of a drop. Not too bad, but the subscription terms, now if I overlay them on top of each other, you can now see that it's exactly the same chart, same scale. So you can now see that subscription box searches are the same size as magazine subscription search volumes out there. That is just showing the potentials there. Think across the room how many magazine subscriptions we all sell, how many new subscriptions we're selling every single year. This is showing that people are searching for subscription boxes and doing as many searches for them as well now. So massive opportunity and a massive growth market. Hitwise, we obviously heard about earlier, they did some research into the subscription box market and presented at an event that we did back in February for various companies. And they are saying that everything they're seeing on online visits, that subscription boxes are one of the fastest growing retail verticals. And this is, again, UK stats here, 76.7 million numbers, sort of online visitors, is what the 2017 numbers are going, and it's growing rapidly. We've also did some research ourselves actually shortly after we launched it, and Royal Mail, about a couple of months later, also did some research. Ours was in June, Royal Mail's came out in September. So the research that we did basically identified that a fifth of, this is talking about UK consumers have signed up for a subscription box in just the last 6 months. And Royal Mail's numbers pretty much mirrored ours as well, saying that 27% of UK consumers are currently subscribed to a subscription box service. That's a huge number of people out there, massive numbers. We looked at how much people were spending. The biggest sector was geek and gaming. This is an average monthly spend of £65. That's monthly. Compare that to what someone spends on a magazine subscription across a year. And £59 in health and fitness, £57 in fashion, home and living, and family and kids. And the total market, this was the Royal Mail research, said it's forecast to grow, this is in the UK, from 583 million this year to 1 billion by 2022. So it's a massive growth market, huge potential there. This is a little bit of an infographic that we pulled together on the back of the research that we did off You Open. And you can see there that you've got the nearly 1/5 one there. Interestingly, on the research, men spend more than women on these things. North East seem to be the biggest spenders. Don't ask me why, I don't know about that. But in terms of the sectors, food and drink, currently the biggest sector, followed by beauty and fashion, shaving, arts and crafts, but the biggest spenders are in the geek and gaming market. So there's massive opportunity there for things. And I was going to do the survey and ask you guys in terms of what you all subscribe to. That was my next bit, to do the poll, but I'm conscious of time, so it's not going to add anything. But I bet you, if I ask for a show of hands quickly, anybody actually have a current subscription to any box? Anything? Yeah, quite a few. And I bet you if I did this in 2 months' time, there'd be even more putting their hands up. I've got 2, and I love them. So I'm now going to sort of quickly go on to how I think you guys, if you're not already in this market, can potentially take advantage of this subscription box trend. I'm going to start with just a few examples of who actually is doing what at the moment. You heard a little bit earlier on from, obviously, Hearst, who will be featuring here. But First News, they have an ongoing subscription called the First Wonder Box. It is priced at £7.99 a month and £80 annually. Obviously, it's selling for children. Hearst, obviously Seema talked earlier, they have a range of different one-off beauty boxes, ranging roughly in price from £30 up to £50 across a whole different type of brands, and obviously mentioned the Advent calendar as well, focusing on, that's obviously expensive, but the products in it are worth significantly more than the value, so very good value for money, and it's a massive growth market as well in terms of Advent calendars. Something quite different, Stack Magazines work with a load of independent magazines and have an ongoing subscription offering that every single month as a customer you get a different independent magazine through your door. So it's a great way to sort of trial and maybe get different copies out to different people who are interested in that. There's ways you can collaborate with existing boxes. Prime Impact did a free digital issue with Pip Box, which is a beauty product, cruelty-free, I think it might be vegan friendly product as well. So they basically did a little offer for one of their monthly boxes. And Vogue did a collaboration with Birchbox and actually just a branded box on that, and there was a sort of a brand fit between the two. So there's lots of different ways you could potentially do that. This is that's going on the market. There's probably other things as well, which gives you a feel for how current publishers are doing stuff in the UK. Similar sorts of stuff going on in the US as well. So why consider a subscription box? Why do I think there's an opportunity here? It's all about, you have got fantastic brands. Every single one of you in the room has got a loyal readership that love and trust your brand. If they're subscribing to it, they like what you're doing. They like what your editors are offering. They like what you're writing about. They will buy things from you. We were hearing, obviously, from the panel before about the breadth of different things that people are now doing. They will buy other things from you that you recommend, that you brand. And they will buy particularly products that editorial curate as well. So obviously the editorial team can be supporting and working with you guys to say this is what goes in a box and why. They can be writing about it, they can recommend it. You've got a fantastic opportunity to sell something and you've got the perfect products to be able to do it. And more than anything else, there's a lot of money out there to be made. This is me just giving an example. If you did a simple calculation for your own business, obviously everyone's got different subscriber file sizes. If you have a subscriber base of about 15,000, say 10% of those pay £10 a month for their box. That's actually quite a low price. A lot of people selling boxes for more than that per month. That's potentially £180,000 worth of revenue a year. If you just do a one-off box priced at £30, 10% of people buying that, that's £45,000. It's not a difficult thing to do to think, actually, what is the size of the opportunity for your individual brands and what can you do? Now, those numbers are generic. You have to work out what works for you and what you think you might do. But there's definitely easy money to be made. So I suggest that if anybody wants to go into this, and this is where we might be able to help and support you, that you should really look and maybe test the size of the opportunity with a one-off box. It will give you a feel for saying, is there a market out there? Can I sell something like this to my readership? And I bet you've all got some products that you could stick in a box and actually create. And I went on a few of your websites and found these sorts of things that you could consider putting in. Bookazines, calendars, DVDs, products that you might have created that are branded products, diaries. I'm sure every one of you out there has got something or other that could be the start of your box. And you could say, actually, if we package this together, you're selling to your subscribers, you could actually make some money out of this. You could also contact your advertisers. Your advertisers want to reach your readership. They, I am sure, if you had the right conversations, could potentially want to put some product samples into your boxes. Maybe contra ads. Maybe those are advertisers that you've had out there who used to advertise with you and don't anymore. Have a conversation with them saying, actually, if you give me something here, I can give you something back. You've got to think of the size of stuff, but if you were a sporting brand, if say it's a golf, you've got golf balls. There's all sorts of other sort of food products you could put in your box. You could do bottles of drinks or all sorts of things, or branded stuff. Even if you're a sport brand, there's tape. There's all sorts of little things you can put in to a box to put them together to make something that somebody will want to buy from you. If you are thinking about doing, what price do you sell at? And I think you need to think about both price and the name, and they sort of almost go together. What are you actually going to put in the box? And there's different things that you can think about. Are you going to have exclusive, unique products in that box? Is it going to be things you cannot get anywhere else? If that's the case, you can say, actually, this is a premium product. You can't get this anywhere else. You can't find that product on the high street. It's not something you can easily search for. That's a high value thing because you're actually offering them something really different and new. Or you're going to do the money saving route. Do you price your box at £30, but actually there's £100 worth of products in there, and then someone thinks they're getting a great deal, great value? Or there's others out there, which is the convenience. Is it something that you actually might be able to offer and say, actually, this is something that that person, that customer is going to need every 3 months, and they need that replenished. Obviously, the shaving type products go down that route, but are there things that work for your brands? And then you can price your box accordingly based on what you actually think you can put into it. Boxes make great gifts. Christmas is coming up. We know it's a huge opportunity. Lots of people buy lots of stuff. They like buying subscriptions for magazines. They also like buying these as gifts. But I think there's a key thing here that you need to think about with these, which is what the price is that someone's willing to pay for a gift, which is roughly £30. Obviously, again, depends on your market. But that might be that you price your box differently if you're going to do a one-off box than something you might do on an ongoing basis. Also think about what you might call it. If you want to only sell to your existing subscriber base, then brand it the same as your magazine. But if you're struggling and you're saying, actually, there's a new audience out there that I really want to bring in, or your brand name might not necessarily fit some of those brands out there that need to reposition themselves and do things, maybe launch a box which has a different brand name and actually think, what can that do for you and how can you bring that in? Opens up brand new audiences that you might never have accessed before for your magazine, and you can then sell subscriptions to them off the back of that. So it sort of turns it on its head. If you want to do an ongoing subscription business with boxes, there are some things that you must think about. Maintaining product consistency in every box is absolutely key. Same way with your editorial content. Every issue has got to be perfect. It's got to offer something good. You absolutely need to do exactly the same with the boxes. You can't think, I've got one wonderful box and then go, oh my God, what the hell am I going to put it in next month? That's got to be thought about. You've got to think, almost 12 months ahead and say, actually, if you're going to go into this, you've got to think about what that product offering is going to be every month. Consistency is key. And I said whether it's going to be the exclusive way you're going to go down, the unique offering, or the convenience, or the money saving, that has to be mirrored all the way through. Obviously, it's something that most publishers haven't thought about and maybe gone into is sourcing those products. Where are you going to get them from? Do you buy them from third-party companies? Do you get them from your advertisers? Do you create them yourselves? There are some people out there who actually can create something themselves that go into the box. You've also got to think further ahead in exactly the same way you do with subscription volumes. You've got to think further ahead. But this is slightly different because you actually don't, obviously with a magazine, you know how many you're going to be printing in your label run. With this is different. You're actually buying quite a lot further ahead, particularly with products that sometimes have quite long lead times. And obviously you've got to make sure that you're actually maintaining the margin on your box as well, thinking you can get one fantastic item, but when you're not in control of the production of that, you've got to make sure you're buying it at the right price. So some other practical considerations. Obviously, you've got to think about how you're going to actually box it up. What you're going to put it in, the size, the design, the feel of it. Is it going to fit through a letterbox? There's lots of boxes we see that fit nicely through a letterbox. There's others which are big parcels. So consider that, and obviously there's a cost related to that. See some people who have an inner box, which is beautifully branded and lovely, and then the outer packaging is a different box. Others manage to do the same, all in the same thing. Up to you how you want to do it. And you have to think how you package it inside as well. There are some of the subscription box companies we work with present their boxes beautifully. Tissue paper wrapping, put a little personalisation, some put sweets in, some put personal messages. There's all sorts of things that they put inside it that makes it feel really special when somebody opens it up and goes, wow, this is an amazing surprise. You've obviously got to get it out there, no different to delivering a subscription magazine, but there are some differences that you actually need to store the products probably before they get dispatched and put in the box, because there's an element that if you're ordering 10 different products, I bet you they're not all going to arrive on the same day. So you've got to think about that, and there's a cost associated. Breakable, restricted items, there's some issues obviously selling alcohol, glass through the post, things like that, just things to think about. How you're going to send it, courier, Royal Mail, tracked, signed for. It's a higher priced product, some people need that. Some do it, some don't do it. a lovely picture from Intermedia, because I am actually going to give a little plug for Intermedia, because they actually are doing this now. They're doing this for one of our clients on that side. So if there's practical help and support you need on that, I would recommend talking to them. They obviously understand how publishers work and understand some of the challenges that go with that. So marketing, this is the really easy bit. I actually think this is a really easy bit. There's an opportunity there. You've got your existing market and you've got a new market. Your existing market is so easy and cheap to market to your existing readers and subscribers. You can run page ads, you can do emails, you can put it on your website. There's all sorts of things you could do. You can also, which I know a lot of people do, is for a one-off box, create that sense of exclusivity, saying I've only got 100 boxes, 500 boxes, 1,000 boxes, and that allows you to manage that cost control and create that, saying here's something special, you must buy it now. You can get people to pre-order for things. You can run things and say order it now. You can get a sense of how many you think you're going to need before you actually produce them all, as well. Obviously, new market, and this is where I get a bit of a plug for You Open. This is where we can help you. What we are aiming to do is very much what magazine.co.uk does and Pocket Mouse does, which is reach that wider audience of those people who are interested in subscription boxes. We're not about saying we're going to compete with you. We're about saying there's loads of people out there who, as you heard from Claire before, coming in and going, I've no idea what, there's all these there's lots of cake making boxes. Which one do I buy? Which one's got what? And that's what they're going to come to us for and look for. We are, at the moment, the only marketplace that there is out there. I'm sure there may be a few others are watching what we're doing and going to be riding on our coattails, but at the moment we're the only one in the UK. If you want to work with us, it's completely free to list on the site. We operate purely on a percentage of revenue share basis. So if you want to give it a go and you want to try a one-off box with us, you can try a one-off box. We can put it on. There's no cost. You just pay when we get a sale for you. We can also handle your ongoing subscription management as well. So those of you who work with us on Pocket Mags know that we obviously have the ongoing renewal process and things like that, which is sort of in what we class in the back office. We have a very similar thing with You Open as well. So again, if you want to test something small scale, see how it goes before it becomes the 2,000 a month, which you might want to run it slightly differently, we can help and support you on that as well. That's a little picture of what the site looks like. That is a little picture of First Wonder Box and how it appears on the site. And Seema, you were mentioning about the Advent calendar. So these are already on the site and we're selling these already. So hopefully we will start to get a few sales trickling in for them. And I'm just going to finish off with a case study. This is for Jiu-Jitsu magazine. You don't have to be, I'm trying to sort of showcase, you don't have to be a big brand to do this. This is something actually, that if you have a niche brand, whatever market you operate in, it's something you can do. This is actually from Brazil. It surprised me when we came across this. David Toon, who heads up You Open, passed this one across to me. They are a small publisher of a Jiu-Jitsu magazine, and they bought 2 small subscription box businesses early last year. So it was called the BJJ box. I have no idea what this is all about, and I'm not in the market, but they bought these businesses. So, and you can see the sorts of products that they put in. It's obviously lots of sporting bits and pieces. They originally, their first box, and what they were going for was this value angle, which is basically saying, right, okay, you've got products worth £100, and we're going to sell it to you for £30. That's what they went with to start with. That was their original angle. But they found that that was attracting a lot of customers looking for great deals. And they then decided that there was an opportunity which fitted more with the brand of the magazine to also create an additional box which had those exclusive and those unique products in it, with things that you couldn't find anywhere else, that were specialists for them, and that was amazing for retention, because that's the sort of thing that someone's going, wow, this is great, I can't get this anywhere else, I need to get this every single month, I want to keep going. So the results were, in just over a year, their subscription box business after they bought it grew by 5 times. The magazine advertising and the circulation all grew at the same time, because they were obviously doing this cross-marketing between the two, so there was a double whammy benefit. And then by the end of this year, what they're expecting is that their subscription box business will actually overtake their magazine business in terms of revenues. This is just something, just showcasing that there is a massive opportunity there. This is in a completely different market to ours, but it very, very similar. And I think there's a huge opportunity for publishers to be getting into it. And I think more than anything else, what I'm also seeing is that there are subscription box businesses out there who are also creating magazines. So if they're creating magazines, why are we not working with them and saying, here's a magazine, here's a fit, and why are we not going to those boxes? Go and buy those box companies and say, actually bring them into your businesses and say, look, this is a great fit, and pull them together. If not, they're creating magazines because they believe that people have an interest in reading about their products and stuff. And I think there's just a huge opportunity for us to be in it, us to be supporting you, and that's it. Thank you.